All right, we're live, or I'm live. Again, talking to myself, of course. Just thought I'd do a live chat on this Wednesday. Get a few things off my chest. Um, let's see. This past few days have been very interesting. As I mentioned in the previous three videos I've made, we've got a brand new doctor coming up sometime next year, and as I said before, I'm looking forward to it. Really, I am. I'm actually looking forward to it. And one of the weird things about it is, again, the people getting all in a huff about it. And I often have to say, you know what? People just need to calm the hell down when it comes to this. But I think my biggest problem, not so much is the fans who are worried about it, but again, the SJWs who are talking about it. And the SJWs are the fucking worst. They are. I don't give a damn. They are the fucking worst. Comparing fans of a show to man babies. They just love taking something that already exists and then turning it into something all for the sake of reasons, whatever. And that's the part that I think bothers a lot of people. That truly bothers a lot of people. Um, what else? Here's the thing, though. I compare it to Battlestar Galactica, and Battlestar Galactica is a great show. Was a great show, both versions. And when I remember hearing about the reboot, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." I thought it was going to be a continuation to something that the late Richard Hatch had planned called Battlestar Galactica: The Second Coming. If you search on YouTube, you'll find it. It's very, very good. I mean, he put this thing together really well. John Colicos, who played Baltar, makes an appearance in this, and I mean, I was like totally impressed. I remember an interview he gave talking about it, where he said that he played it at a Comic Con, and it was supposed to be like for a Kickstarter to start the thing up again at a Comic Con, and people were silent for like a while before they just started cheering because they wanted to see, do they reach Earth? What happens to the colonists? What happens to the Cylons? I mean, they were totally jonesing for it. And I was like, I mean, like I said, before the reboot that came out, I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, oh man, this has got to be made. This totally has to be made. Unfortunately, it never came to fruition. I think died a short time after. And now we know Richard Hatch just passed away, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I'll explain that you could actually tie in the original Battlestar Galactica with the reboot. You really can't. You really can't tie it in. I mean, they kind of left the door open when you think about it. All right. Let's see. At this point, nobody's watching. That's always kind of funny. The I gotta learn how to do a thing here. See if I could for people to view. Kind of new. I'm still new at this. I'm still learning the ropes at this, and I just keep figuring. One of these days I'll do something. I don't know. Let's see. I had to shut off my iPad because I don't want people thinking that I don't want to get some false reading that I got a viewer, yay, and it's actually me. So you guys will probably see this maybe a little later during the day or something like that, or later on this week. Oh, but back to Battlestar Galactica. Like I said, when they announced the reboot and they told us that Starbuck was going to be played by a woman, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was upset by that, and this is before SJW shit really took hold. So, but I was still upset by this until I saw it. And then I thought, wow, Katie Sackhoff is good. You know, she's kind of got that Dirk Benedict combined with Jeanette Goldstein from Aliens kind of vibe going with her. And I was thinking, this just might work. You know, she plays this tough as nail, almost foul mouth the hot chick flying a plane. I mean, let's be honest. And then you've got, then of course, Boomer, a nice gender swap on Boomer and racial swap on Boomer. Instead of making it into a white male, they made it into an Asian female. I was like, okay, I can live with that too. And then the backstory with that character really changed everything. And then giving her code name of Athena, which I thought was a nice little callback to the original series. Perhaps the biggest disappointment was Colonel Ty. The original one was a pretty good guy that you liked as a character. This new one seemed more like a broken drunkard. I mean, the only reason why he's on the Galactica is because he had no place else to go, and which I always thought was kind of weird, and you know. And perhaps the most interesting character on that show was that ship's doctor, played by Donnelly Rhodes. And the only reason why I find him fascinating is because every time you saw him, he had a cigarette. And the only question I kept asking was, where's he getting these cigarettes from? Seriously, I kept asking myself, where's he getting these cigarettes from? Every time he's talking, he's sitting there in the doctor's office chilling out, doing an examination. He's puffing away in a Newport or whatever the hell they called it on Caprica. So he's just happily puffing away. And I thought, okay, this is pretty fun. Oh, geez. I just, like I said, I always thought that was just kind of funny. Let's see. Leave a call, bandwidth. I'm gonna see if I can invite a couple of people. Let's see. Do I try this? Sure. Try him. Invite. Let's see if he's paying attention. Let's see. Let's try somebody else. And let's see. Don't know this person. Let's see. Who else do I want to look at on this? Nope. Let's see. Oh, blimey. I got to really look at my list here. Let's see. Bear with me on this one because I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing here. This seems to be a bit of a something here. Let me try this. Oops. Nope. Like. Nope. Don't know who these people are. Let's close that for now. I got to pay attention, a little bit more attention to how I do this sometimes. Oh, but back to, but like I said, Battlestar Galactica. One of the funny things about how it can be tied into the original. Keep in mind, the original Battlestar Galactica, we know that it has a certain timeline. I'm not counting Galactica 1980 either. I'm not going to count that for various reasons. But I'm going to go by the fact that they were at least some 10, 15 light years out from Earth because they were getting that message from, what do you call it, Apollo. The Apollo moon landing in the last episode. I think it's called Hand of God or something like that. And like I said, they get this message coming in, and then the caveat is they all leave the output, the little thing where they pick up the message comes through, meaning that they were fairly close to Earth. They were fairly close to Earth, and what happens is that you could literally tie in the original with that, because you could in the reboot. What happens is we discovered that they're about 120 20,000 years in the past, and that everything goes in these weird cycles. And one of the things I kept thinking was, if everything goes in cycles, consider this: during the 100,000 years, those humanoid Cylons and the robotic Cylons evolve into what we see as the Cherub. Remember those light beings in the original series? They go off and do their thing, and they're out to help and guide humanity. Whilst, let's see, let me look at this. Sorry. And while they're doing that, you know, how can I put this? While they're off doing that, they're evolving and stuff like that. New humans are cropping up all over the place. Like they probably deposited a few on what would be Kobol, because it's already established that Kobol had existed for like 10,000 years or some crazy stuff before they got to the colonies. And then they branched out. And Terra, in the movie called, in the episode called Escape from Terra, what you could have is you could have it where they deposited humans on there. They became the Eastern Alliance enforcers. And then at another point, some other humans had left Kobol and went to our Earth as we know it. So, I mean, I'm just spitballing here. Bear with me right now. I'm kind of trying to do something, see if anybody's interested in looking at my happy behind talk about stuff. But like I said, that's my thing about Battlestar Galactica and how it ties into the 13th Doctor. Let's see. I'm going to try sending out another invite. See if anybody's interested. Let's see. Right for the dead silence, or the dead air, as they call it. Let's see. Well, that ain't working. Wow. But like I said, that could be easily tied into the original series. And I really honestly hope that somewhere along the lines that they kind of do that, you know. But that's just wishful thinking on my end. So I'm not even going to stress about that. Oops. Like I said, I just don't want this show to be bogged down with the same bullshit that's been bogging down most shows. Let me put it this way. Supergirl had the best potential to be a great show, but it literally got fucked up through SJW nonsense and third wave feminism. Supergirl acts more like a high schooler. She's supposed to be what? In her 20s, working at this prestigious office, and yet she acts like a high schooler. How the hell does that work? I mean, they keep doing this. They keep turning these heroic women. These are two things. One, they're man-hating, mondo super hyper masculine, or they're these perpetual children who I like to refer to as the Disney feminist. You know, the Disney feminists. These are the ones that could do no wrong. You know, they can't do any wrong. They can. Let's see. They're always right. Mom and dad. They're smarter than their teachers. They're smarter than their principal. They're smarter than everybody in the immediate vicinity, especially their brothers and their fathers. And it's just so damned ridiculous. It's just mind-boggling how they turned a character. I mean, in the comics, she's far capable, but in this TV show, she's cringy. She beats Superman. And I love it. The way they described it, he's fighting her because that he was fighting General Zod, but she still kicks his ass? Are you fucking kidding me? He's been on Earth longer, probably knows more tactics than she does, and she beats him? They did the same thing with Mon-El. Mon-El was supposed to be on a par with Superboy, or close to a par in Superboy, and yet he was a whiny lech trying to get in the pants of every woman that he ran into. I mean, honestly, they would have done better if they would have turned him into a space age nerd. And now he just got these powers, and he's like, hey, I could do some awesome shit. No, he's still a bit of a wuss. I mean, who would want this guy fighting alongside of you? And the fact of the matter is, they couldn't even give him a costume? Are you kidding me? I mean, granted, you want to keep this, he's asking for a costume in one episode. They didn't even bother to do that for the guy. I mean, it's nice that you're introducing some of these heroes and villains and stuff like that. And then Silver Banshee, which that whole thing kind of broke down to cattiness in the office. And I was just like, are you kidding me with this? I mean, they're doing so much with the superhero genre. And when I say so much, they're doing horrible things with the superhero genre, especially when it comes to female characters. Yes, we do like strong, independent characters, but when they start acting more like teenage girls, they're not strong anymore. Okay, we get it. When you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she's supposed to be in high school. I get it. She's supposed to be in high school and all this other wonderful warm stuff. Okay. And then it explains that why she acts like a particular way. Then she gets to college. Then more stuff kind of happens. But like I said, she acted like a total idiot. I mean, not her, but I'm talking about Supergirl. Supergirl acted like an idiot. Buffy Summers and Buffy the Vampire Slayer was at least competent, where she was able to say, you know what, I could handle this. And she grew as a person. She honestly grew as a person. The character grew. This character, she's not growing. She's, I guess, how could you call it? She's more like a, she's more, how can I put this? I don't know. Like I said before, she's more like a child. She's more like a child. There's nothing really that she has to offer. See, we got one viewer here. Hey, if you got something to say, come on, let me know. I know that I'm not alone here, yapping for the sake of yapping. My girlfriend, she does that a lot. Okay, so where was I? Back to comics and the like, and they do this with Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is another fine example of a character really, really honestly shouldn't exist. Seriously, the way they've done her, she acts like a child. I mean, she's a child. She's supposed to be this superhero on like she's in fourth grade, and I don't know, and the artwork. Now, I never complain about artists per se. I know a lot of people have a lot of shit to say about Rob Liefeld, but at the end of the day, it kind of goes like this. The artist for Squirrel Girl kind of looks, I don't know, the artwork looks like very badly drawn Love and Rockets artwork. If you're familiar with that comic. By the Hernandez brothers. And like I said, it's just very, very shitty. it's just very, very shitty. And the fact that this comic is still going and nobody's really kind of saying, you know what, this is kind of garbage. Like, can we end this? Bothers me the most. Okay. Like I said, you got Squirrel Girl, you got Supergirl, you got characters who should be strong and capable, but they act like children. This does not bode well for superheroes. Seriously, it doesn't bode well. In fact, you kind of just, again, each time it's more cringeworthy. You know, I understand now they're possibly going to make Riri Williams more of a possible sociopathic supervillain, which I think is interesting. You know. Oh, one other thing. Let's see. One of the weird things is that you've got, like I said, we demanding that there be more representation in comics and heroes and stuff like that. Now, here's the thing. I love the fact that people keep ignoring the original characters that are out there. They really are. It seems that they want to put blackface or gender swap existing characters for the sake of, diversity. Dozens of characters out there that you could use. I mean, the fact that somebody is saying, oh, there should be more Asian representation, okay, perhaps. Or perhaps maybe you should push to have the existing characters to do. I mean, it doesn't take that much of an effort to do so. But then again, if you're not buying it, then that tells me something. If you're not buying it and bitching about whether or not there should be representation, not every character needs to be gay, not every character needs to be trans. Actually, there's not too many trans characters per se, but there's weird demand that everybody should, and which is really kind of funny where somebody's complaining on, what was it, Nia Sarkeesian, complaining that there's not a trans person on Doctor Who. Well, guess what? There will be trans. He's going to transition from male to female. Thus, there's your trans. It's not that important because representation, even as such, the trans community is relatively small. When you think about it, it is relatively small, whether we like it or not. I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm not trying to be dismissive. I'm not trying to be transphobic, as people like to try and do. I'm just simply saying it's a small, small community, and demanding that somehow or another um, that there should be just as many on a television show. I'll be honest with you. Throughout my entire existence, I don't think I've met one trans. No, skip that. I think I've met one transgender person in my entire 49 years of existence. One, one, maybe two. I'm not sure. But let's be honest, the one I saw pretty much looked like a dude with a lot of feminine qualities to. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say her because I don't want to get any fucking backlash. But that's what I saw. I mean, it was there. I mean, what are you going to do? Okay. Let's see. I'm going to, but like I said, they might be few and far between depending on where the hell you go. That difficult, is it? Okay. Sorry for the dead air again. I'm just doing a test here. Okay. And it doesn't show up. Let's see if I try it this way. Yeah. Okay. Still doesn't show up. Oh well. Uh, like I said, I mean, the fact that they're going to have a bitch fest about the Doctor not being, oh, it did show up. Okay. So I know that whoever's looking at this is probably going, like I said, whoever's watching this, besides me, um, it would not hurt to send me some messages. Let's see what you got to say. If not, unless this is just a computer glitch on my end. Okay, like I said, when I look at the concept of the Doctor being female, again, I'm not losing sleep over this. I lost more sleep over the concept of Starbuck being a woman in Battlestar Galactica, but it's I got over it quite quickly because the actress really brought her A game to the role, so I was like, oh, okay, no question there. And it's so funny. Again, you do not need to do a gender swap on everything to prove that somehow or another it needs to be done. It's not necessary. It truly isn't necessary. You don't need that. You don't need a racial swap. You don't need a gender swap. You don't need to do everything all for the sake of upsetting people. And that's another thing. How is it that you take pleasure, and this is for the SJWs, I would love to ask him this question. How is it that you take pleasure in ruining something for somebody? And even then, what's it based on? Somebody's used to something, but then you come in. It's like somebody's used to having a nice house, furniture. Then imagine somebody coming in, all the guy's furniture out, and replacing it with not the stuff that he bought at a furniture store, but replaced it with stuff from a thrift store, cheap stuff from a thrift store. And then you sit there and you're happy that he's upset that you replaced his good stuff with something totally different. How is it that makes sense? Help me to help make some sense out of that. I've never understood the um desire for SJWs to get glee out of other people being upset. I'm just trying to figure it out. I want you to help me figure this out. I mean, it's not a tough question, is it? It's just a general question. Why are you so happy with people being upset over something that they like? I mean, here's the thing. They took, I've said it before, they took Ghostbusters. They completely erased the original and brought in this stuff with lame jokes, a lame concept, lame jokes, the whole nine. They just said, to hell with it. We're just going to throw in this stuff, and if you're upset, we're going to call you a man baby. No, don't call it a man babies. Don't call us man babies. How about you just simply say, hey, look, we screwed up. Okay, bad idea. We'll double down. And that's what always happens. I've heard that term from Vox Day. What does it say? SJWs always double down. If not, they don't lie. They double down. They seem to double down. They always double the hell down. And that's the thing that kills me. Most people, when you do something and it doesn't turn out right, you go back, you look at yourself, you say, okay, where did I go wrong? Okay, let me do it this way as opposed to doing it that way. Let me look at myself. Where did I go wrong? Oh, okay, this is where I went wrong. Now I'm going to do something that's a little bit better or much better than what I did. Okay, I did this last job half-assed. Now I'm going to give it my all on this one. No, they just say, well, since I did half-assed, I'll just keep going half-assed. This is the SJW mindset. This is what's going on in Hollywood. This is what's going on in Marvel Comics. This is what's going on in various TV shows, science fiction, fantasy, otherwise. They keep doubling down on the notion that, hey, I don't have to give it my all. I'll just put some half-ass bullshit out there, and they're going to like it. And it's not working. And again, you should stop and say, hey, this isn't working. Maybe we ought to do something else. No, just no. They go ahead and they do the same damn thing, or they do it even worse. And they're leaving us. They're leaving us with this bad taste. They're leaving us with a bad taste to the point where even in comic books, all you see is women talking. They're just talking. There's no action. They're just talking. They're trying to pass the Bechdel test. There's like no action, just a lot of weird drama. And and somebody mentioned it. Diversity in comics, I think, said it. Let's see. Wait a minute. Let me see if he's around. Let's see. I have no idea who that is. Oops. Sorry for the dead air again. Just trying to send an invite. Well, let me do it. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, I'm going to try this. This might be a little bit better. Let's see. Nope. Let's try him. Let's see if he's out and about. Like I said, comics have just taken this warped view. And like I said, between the shows and the comics, like I said, diversity in comics. When I look at him talk about Squirrel Girl, it's gotten to the point where he buys them and rips them up, which I think is kind of funny. Because I mean, that's pretty expensive when you think about it. And after a while, oh geez, I don't even know where to start with this. I remember back in the day before everything went directly to comics markets, they used to be in stores. You know, you go to your local store and you find comics there. They based sales and how you could determine which comics were popular and which weren't. I found this out when I worked at a general store that was like across the street from my house when I was a kid. I was a teenager and oh, no viewers. Oh well. Well, anyways, I worked at this one store, and it was pretty cool. I worked at this one store, and the comics would come in, and they would put them on the rack. Now they would get like maybe 12 copies of one issue. Something like they'll have 12 issues of Superman, 12 issues of Spider-Man, 12 issues of Batman, 12 issues of Fantastic Four, 12 issues of Little Lulu, 12 issues of Casper. It was that. They all put them. They put them on. Certain other stores would get ones like Space 1999, and I had to like go like 3 blocks down to find it. And I was lucky to even get one issue. And it was drawn by John Byrne. But anyways, I would go. I would see how those are put on a rack. Then at the end of the month, they pulled them off of the rack, whichever's were left, and they shipped them back to Marvel or DC or Warner. I forget who printed Space 1999 and Casper, Little Lou. They would ship them back, and based on What came back is what determined the sales. So if they had shipped 12 to one store and 3 came back, that meant that they had very, very good sales. Now, if they shipped 12 and 9 came back, that meant sales were poor. It was very simple. If you shipped 12 and 6 came back, sales were moderate. You keep it going. It's good. Everybody's happy. I mean, that's the way it used to be done. Why it's done these days where they'll just ship out X amount, period, and leave it at that is beyond me. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. I'm going to say this is the Wookiee defense. It makes no sense. All right. It makes no sense whatsoever for them to do it this way. Because if they did the old style way, where they came back and they said, okay, let's see what you've got left. And then they took those and they recycled them. Then you could determine the sales. And I guarantee you, your Captain Marvel, your Squirrel Girl, and various other comics would not be on the shelves for long. It won't be. It would be gone. They would be gone. And then people would have to realize, oh, shit, maybe we're doing things the wrong way. And then you also have the letters page, the bullpen. That was a great thing. You could send in a letter and hopefully they printed it. And then you got to say, hey, yeah, I wrote a letter of Marvel. And if you got that issue, you kept that letter, you kept that issue if your letter was shown in there, and you'd worship it as gold because your name is in it. You know, I know George R.R. Martin wrote to Marvel for some particular comic book, and I'm pretty sure he keeps that comic, you know, under lock and key or something like that, or under glass, because, you know, it's just, I mean, the irony is somebody famous, in the early days of somebody famous, you know, that, I mean, that's just the thing. And I think that's kind of interesting. But like I said, the bullpen has been turned into the bully pulpit for the SJW crowd, and nobody and the only people who are saying this are guys like myself and Diversity in Comics, Captain Cummins, and a bunch of other folks out there. We're like the only ones who are saying, you know what, we want our voices heard, and our voice is saying this. We do not need to keep doubling down. Correction. You all do not have to keep doubling down on SJW and this nonsense. You don't have to do it. There are plenty of other things in comics that you could talk about. I mean, here's the thing. You've got characters lamenting about not just race, but pronouns and gender and all this other stuff, transphobia, homophobia, and all this other stuff. Back in the day, it could be addressed, but it wasn't the main focus of the damn comic. I mean, Ms. Marvel, I mean, the potential for a great character. I've said it before, I'll say it again. She has potential to be a great character. The fact that they made a big deal out of Ms. Marvel being Muslim is the problem. They could have just said, oh, well, here's this new girl. Oh, by the way, she's Muslim. They could have had that as a by the way. They could focus more on a lot of her heroics instead of so-called girly stuff. To be honest with you, almost every hero seems to be acting like a 16-year-old girl. I mentioned it before. They all seem to act like 16-year-old girls, and they want to reduce men to almost, well, 17-year-old boys. They took away Spider-Man's wife and child, and luckily they got Renew Your Vows, and even then, he still acts childish. For this new Justice League movie, they turned Flash into a geeky guy. It looks like he's never kissed a girl, and I'm like, why? You don't need that. The guy's supposed to be a police scientist. I remember reading DC Secret Origins. It was it was around, I can't say around the time, but it was like one of those big compendium books, like Marvel had the, you know, Marvel's Secret Origins, or not Secret Origins, Origins of Marvel Heroes. Oh gosh, what did they used to call it back then? because then they had Sons of Origins, which featured the X-Men and Iron Man and X-Men Iron Man and Doctor Strange. No, wait, he was in the Origins of Marvel Heroes. Then there's Bring on the Bad Guy. Well, anyways, DC had their own version where, shows the origin of Superman, uh, both golden and silver, Flash, golden and silver, Green Lantern, golden, silver, Batman, I think just golden age. I can't remember, but Wonder Woman, golden, silver. And one of the things that's really bizarre about that, again, with the Flash, I mean, this guy's already established as an adult. He's not fresh out of college. This is Silver Age Flash, Barry Allen Flash. He's already established. He's an adult. He's doing stuff. He's already probably been on a few dates in his lifetime. He's enjoying himself as a guy and as a manly man. And again, when I look at the trailer, I just keep hoping that they do this guy some justice instead of turning him into this almost nerdy, wimpy kid. We don't need the Flash to be a college student, to be honest with you. Hell, they did a really good job with John Wesley Shipp in the Flash TV series back in the 90s. That, to me, was a great show. To me, when I looked at him, I thought he was the Flash because he was an older dude learning his powers, getting used to it. He's not some young kid who's pimply faced worrying about whether or not he could pay the rent or not. I mean, that's a really, really annoying trope, if you ask me. You don't need to have every guy trying to be a pimply faced kid trying to figure out if he can pay the rent or not. You need somebody to be an adult who's really his only job is, did I pay that bill? I could have sworn I said, I better go check when I get home. Or, shoot, I forgot to wish my mom a happy birthday. Well, okay, like I said, I got one viewer here. Don't know if you want to say something. Type it in the chat. I should be able to get it. Should. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen. Okay. Let's see. I already talked about Doctor Who, Supergirl, comics. I'm going to stick on comics. Yeah, this is a pretty, as I hear, low T. I know the Beckloft. He's probably sleeping right now, so I have nothing to worry about that guy. I wonder if Black James is around, because I know he digs on comics. So he seems like a pretty much all right dude, because I think, I don't know, he just seems like a cool guy. I mean, he knows his comics. I did not know that about how Gene Roddenberry took from the Lensman. Ironically, I used to have a couple of episodes of that on a videotape back back in the day, and I don't know. I think I threw them out accidentally or so. I don't know, but it was kind of interesting. But it was this animated thing called the Lensman, and it was really, really interesting. And I'm just surprised not too many people know about it. I'm pretty sure they have it on YouTube somewhere. So you see it on YouTube, download it if you can and watch it, because I thought it was an interesting animated series. And one of these days I gotta find the books. Oh, speaking of books, I'm going to recommend something, and it's This Present Darkness by Frank Peretti. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're skeptics, atheists, and the like, you're probably not going to like this book. If you're agnostic, you might like this book, and if you're Christian, you're definitely going to love this book. It's a battle between angels and demons from their perspective, kind of, I guess, Screwtape Letters kind of way. Only you see more of the human involvement and you get to understand the characters. I literally bought that book and its sequel one time. I was stationed overseas. I was stationed in Germany. Yay, Spangdahlem. Anyways, I was stationed in Spangdahlem Air Force Base. And there was a Christian bookstore that was out by Bitburg or Ramstein. We had to go to Ramstein for that. So we travel at night. Ramstein is like 90 minutes away. And this is like on the Autobahn where there's like no speed limit. So you could like totally lead foot your way down there. So I go over there and prior to that, I heard everybody talk about it. Oh, did you read this book? Oh, it's an awesome book. I couldn't put it down. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's find out about it. So I had some money and I bought the book and the sequel. And literally, I had it for like 3 months. I didn't even get it. I didn't even read it. I just had it for 3 months, and it was just sitting on my shelf in my barracks room, dorm room. And one night, I do believe it was a Saturday night because I remember I had to teach Sunday school the next day. One Saturday night, I'm just bored. It's like 6:30. I am bored to tears. And then I go, you know what the hell? I pick up the book. I start reading it. And the bottom line is, I literally read that book all night. I kept saying I got to get some sleep, but then I was like, no, I got to finish reading this. I got to finish reading this. Pretty much by 6 a.m., I was done reading that book. I mean, this is how enthralling this book was. Now, you could probably, again, if you're a skeptic or agnostic, read it with an open mind, and you might enjoy it. Just think of it as a different form of sci-fi, if that's the case. But like I said, I recommend that book if you ever come across it. You might be able to you might be able to order it. I remember there was talking someone, George Lucas or Steven Spielberg, trying to make a movie out of it, but that never came to fruition. But it was, like I said, it's a very, very good book series. There's two books. This Present Darkness, and the second one was Piercing the Darkness. Some of the characters carry over to the second book. But like I said, the first book will have you up all night. Or, I mean, your best bet, if it's on a Sunday, and let's say after church, break it open. No, actually, do it on a Friday night when you have nothing else better to do. And since you ain't got to go to work on the next day, I suggest you read that. That's you read the book. This Present Darkness, Frank Peretti. Let's see. I have yet to watch Ex Machina. I got this DVD. I bought it a while ago, and I just haven't watched it yet. Um, I don't know. I'll guess I'll put in some time to watch it. But my girlfriend likes to watch things with me, and it's like, okay, knock yourself out. But ah, okay. Let's see what else. Like I said, books. I mean, let's see. Back to comic books, though. There's a lot of people who get into the business, and diversity in comics. I keep putting his name out there. Why not? Hey, dude, live with it. um, I figured this. He says something very interesting, and he described the fact that he thinks that most of the writers of diversity, not diversity in comics, yeah, most of the writers of comics who are trying to write for kids don't have kids, and I think that's the problem. And then you have another branch of writers out there who have this mindset of they want to take the piss out of comics. Yeah, the Beckloff described that. He said, you had people who think they need to take the piss out of comics. No, put the piss back in comics. I want it back in there. Yes, our heroes can be flawed. Yes, they could worry about certain things in their lives. But for heaven's sakes, when it's an overarching thing, I mean, when you want diversity, I mean, we had the thing of diversity we had Milestone. Milestone Comics was a great idea. And it was kind of interesting when you think about it, because you break down the four major heroes in this category. Icon was Superman. Static was Spider-Man. Zombie was Wolverine, and Hardwire was Iron Man. Then I think they had another group. There was a group of heroes, which is supposed to be their version of Justice League in this. And it was really, 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 I had a shite load of Static Shock and Icon. And unfortunately, they all got stolen. But what are you going to do? C'est la guerre. I mean, these were books that, I mean, I was totally, they were really, really good, but they just weren't selling. I mean, we could always complain that, oh, well, diversity, that means people are racist. No, it also means that maybe not enough Black, Asian, and Hispanic people were buying the damn book. I know I was one of them that like buying the book. And and if it came out again, I think, is Static still around? I believe Static's still around. At least the character's still alive. As for Icon, he's just gone. I don't even know where the hell he's at these days. They just kind of erased him. I did like the fact that they put him in Young Justice, where he's talking to Superman, where Superman's talking about him. He says, when I first saw him, I thought he was from Krypton because their powers were the same. I thought that was an interesting take. That, you know, he's like, hey, I'm not alone in the universe here. I was like, hey, there's somebody just like me. I mean, that was an interesting take that they at least put him in the animated form. I mean, that would also actually be a good thing. If that would be nice if they put him in Supergirl, the TV show Supergirl. I'm going to give Supergirl one more chance. Seriously, I don't know why, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to give a chance. Hopefully, somebody somewhere, they're going to have a decent writer do something. But if not, I'm just going to give up on that. I haven't watched Flash or Arrow, no. So now I'm going to have to binge watch that to get a grip on it. I mean, I saw the first episode of Flash, and I was pleasantly surprised to see John Wesley Shipp, you know, the original Flash in the TV series, playing, you know, Barry Allen's dad, and then to have him be Jay Garrick the Flash, that actor played Jay Garrick the Flash, I thought was just amazing. I was like, wow. I mean, I'm looking at Emergency Awesome when I see that stuff, but I thought, you know, it's really, really good the way they do that show. So according to this, I got one viewer. It's probably just my iPad on, and it's registering as a viewer. So I don't know. I guess I could wrap this up. You know, go back to doing something productive other than talking to myself. I'm willing to give the whole female doctor a chance. And you know what? I really hope Chris Chibnall tells these SJW types to go fuck themselves, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of their bullying. I'm tired of their demands. I'm tired of their overarching demands for so-called diversity. I'm tired of their lies. I'm tired of them ignoring the shit that's already out there. I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of Anita Sarkeesian giving her views on a show, which I guarantee you she doesn't even fucking watch. I'm tired of Matt Bender doing the same thing. I'm tired of all these clowns wanting something. They don't even watch it or read it or listen to it at all. I'm tired of them. I want there to be a big go screw yourself to the SJW community. And I don't care if they complain. I don't care if they do complain, because this is what needs to be said. I've said in my previous video, do not placate to this small minority, but yet loud and vocal types. You play to your base. That's all you got to do. Play to your base. Know that these people love to double down on bullshit. These are the people who honestly think that socialism works. These are the same people that would, to put it mildly, they think socialism works, okay? And that would be the equivalent of somebody telling you, yes, you could put a grease fire out with water. Now, any fireman, chef, or anybody interested in safety would know that you do not put a grease fire out with water. But they will tell you continuously, well, it just hasn't been done right. That's the mindset. That's their mindset. Like I said, I want Chris Chibnall to basically tell these people to go fuck themselves. We do not have to have SJW rhetoric in every damn script. I want him to look at the writers and say, this is not necessary, but this can be necessary. This can be said, but this doesn't need to be said. Jokes about Donald Trump, who cares? We don't need it. Jokes about SJWs being loudmouth, yeah, we do need that. We don't need any stories demoting capitalism and elevating socialism. We don't need any of that. Give us what we want, which is good science fiction. Don't double down and keep feeding us. Don't feed us shit and tell us it's a steak, and then feed us more shit and say it's an even better steak. Well, right now I'm gonna get some light snack, so I'm gonna wrap this up. So whoever's watching this, I hope you enjoyed this video. Rate it if you like it. Until then, I'm gonna get out of here. I've got other things to do. And until then, peace.